Pterodactylos hails, rosy-fingered dawn. I journeyed through darkness to arrive at this moment, the sun's first radiance dispelling the night, revealing the beauty in the light. Traversing the eastern slopes of the Kaibab Plateau, every turn, every dip, every curve revealed floods of ash from above, remnants of the dragon's wrath, painting desert gullies awash in black. Looking back on the morning's journey, I wondered, what lies ahead? What shall be revealed along this path I now tread? 41,000 acres of wilderness, now devoid of wildness, consumed along the dragon's path.
All right, we finally made it to, out near a place called Coxcomb, on the edge of the Saddle Mountain Wilderness. And so we're gonna hike up to some higher points along the edge of the Coxcomb and get some views from up top. So we're looking at the edge of the Saddle Mountain Wilderness here. We're down below where we were a few weeks ago, so I think we're about 6,100 feet or so. And where we were up high on the Saddle Mountain Wilderness before at Marble Viewpoint was approximately 9,000 feet, plus or minus a few feet. And so as you can see here, it's a good bit of the forest down here. Piñons and junipers is burned. Some of it worse than others. But we're gonna be hiking up top of these what look like little buttes here. That's the backbone of the Coxcomb, basically. So we're gonna hike up top. It's a kind of a fault line and a geologic feature that, when viewed from above, it kind of looks like almost like a serpent or a snake or a dragon ripping through the countryside. You can see some more down there. You can see that continues on for a number of miles over there. We'll zoom back out. And yeah, we're gonna go right up there, see what we can see. Well, this is a bit of a different view than a few weeks ago. Now we're in the lower elevations of Saddle Mountain Wilderness, back behind the geological feature known as the Coxcomb. And here we've got a lot of steep slopes, quite rocky, and here too everything's been burnt, so even the rocks are kind of blackened. Piñons and junipers all pretty much blackened as well. And it looks like it used to be kind of thick through here. Interesting cloud. But yeah, down in the distance, you can see Marble Canyon. Marble Canyon down there. You see that crack, that fracture running through the earth. That's the beginning of Grand Canyon. It's Marble Canyon, so it's Upper Grand Canyon. You can see Navajo Mountain, that knob right in the middle of the screen. It's over in Utah, by Lake Powell, Glen Canyon. And then the Echo Cliffs cutting across the top of the frame. Vermilion cliffs on the left, and then if you look closely, something I never mentioned in previous videos, is that you can actually, on a clear day, you can see all the way over in Utah. That's the Kaibab Plateau. It's part of Escalante. The Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument over there. So on a clear day, you can see quite a bit from this area. Well, we've got to continue our ascent here because that's the plan for today. Kind of keep huffing and puffing here. All right, we are on the backbone now. Hopefully we're about to make our own little ascent here. Of this little peak. Looks like it's gonna be a little tricky in spots. Alright, so it looks like we're about to pop out on our ascent of this specific ridge line of the coxcomb, so we'll see if we get a real view or if it's just a false summit. Burnt tree there. Of course, they're all burnt along here, aren't they? Yep, so we're way up here. Up on the coxcomb. About ready to pop out. Look out for dead trees. But let's see what's up there. Holy moly, a view to kill for. Yes, sirree. Up on the nice edge here.
Before me, a perplexing landscape unfurls. Previously viewed, though never truly seen. Here, the earth crashes down and rises skyward in the same breath. Once concealed by a skin of pines and cedars, patterns ancient, obscured, now laid bare. Waves, ripples, undulations of stone, rapidly exposed, newly eroded, sculpted by fire, rain, and flood into this strange, disastrous beauty. I descended rapidly, taking the most direct line along the crests of earthen waves. Utterly confronted by the display, exposed patterns of stark beauty surround me. Beauty in the destruction, beauty in the collapse, all along a leviathan's exposed back. By morning, confusion, a hollow echo. What was I doing here? What did I seek amongst this rubble and ash? What answer could this ruinous earthen heap now hold? So I sent my eyes skyward, appealing for a higher vision, a larger view to find myself within, dwarfed, insignificant. Then I simply began to take it all in. I pressed deeper into the edge of this wilderness, following the path of the dragon, tracing this Leviathan's titanic tectonic undulations, shaping and framing the stage of this desert. All along the way, ravaged forest, charred bones of cedars and pines, reaching skyward in silent supplication, drowning in a sea of sand unleashed from stone. Skyward, the raptor's view. From such height, the landscape unfolds in its totality. Yet, the eye is not drawn to the expanse of ash, but to the stands of survivors. Patches and pockets of green cling to life in a sea of blackened hollows. These are the remnants of this once forested wilderness, the keepers of the restorative, generative seeds. As ash and sand, freed from stone, await the days ahead, where new beaches shall be their home. Down below in the canyon, along the river's path, cycles unleashed, death generating resurrection, endless cycles on repeat. Life and death dancing, painful sorrow, exquisite yet sweet. departing this newfound land, I decide I must make one last stand. To take in the immensity of this geoscape revealed to me, the dueling forces of the dragon's path and the Leviathan's bones revealed. The entire vision was of a region devoured by fire. Before me, I find what lies behind the beauty I'd once known. A back of beyond. A place I'd never been nor roamed. Everywhere I looked was charred devastation. Yet something intangible, unfathomable, trickled into my thoughts. A voice, a whisper, a lost, forgotten conversation. An ancient phrase seeped sweetly into my mind. Ignis natura renovatur integra. By fire, nature is renewed whole. I felt a change viewing this vast devastation. I began seeing something unexpected. Can there be beauty in these ashes? And so I choose to see. I choose to see beauty amongst the ashes.